tracing the antecedents, we could see what you did with Delta State Education, higher institution to be precise, what looks like a deregulation that has unbundled higher education in Delta State. There is this lingering subsidy vis-a-vis oil theft in Nigeria. Coming from your experience, how do you address that?
I will say this now. Oil theft is official. Crude oil theft is official. It's not those boys you see in the creeks that steal crude oil, no. It is official. Any pinhole size opening, any pin size hole along that big pipeline is monitored by the computers. You know there is drop in pressure. No matter how minute that drop is, highly wired. So there's no way 10 liters of crude oil will leave our system without it being detected. If it's not detected here, IMF will detect it. World Bank will detect it. CIA will detect it. China will detect it. Britain, they will detect it. So it's not like something you just, like a plantain you steal from somebody's farm, you take to your house to fry. No, now, this oil, this crude oil that is said to be stolen, in quote, goes somewhere. Where does it go to? IMF knows all the refineries in this world and how the crude oil comes in. CIA knows where all the refineries are and how the crude oil comes in. Right? Britain knows wherever they are. World Bank knows. World Trade Center knows. So how come they don't want to tell us? Nigeria, we love you so much. See your crude oil here. They will never tell us because they are part of the stealing. It's official. From producing country to refining country. Nigerian leaders are going to Chatham House right now. All of them. I have not heard Kwakwaso go there. They are going there. They are going to negotiate oil theft too. Nothing else. They are going to negotiate gold theft. If you become president, you say allow us have some of your crude oil. Yes, yes, I will allow you. We'll allow you have crude oil. Part of crude oil will come to you. The gold you can come and mine, even if you have to kill our people. You know, what are they going there to do? To perpetuate wars on ground. Buhari went there. He didn't change. He was warned. Chatham House. It's not a clearing house for Nigerian politicians. Otherwise, when this tanker, an oil tanker is not loaded, it's like a 20-story building. By the time it is loaded, it's almost at water level. Eh? Is that what goes through the seas without the world knowing where it is sailing to? With all the checks? In Obasanjo's first time, what Bartholomew did an article in Vanguard. I have a copy of it. That was when my eyes opened. That in the IMF records, World Bank records, there's oil coming from an unknown West African country. It's always recorded. And that unknown West African country is Nigeria. Nobody challenged him. So when recently they said they saw one huge pipeline, that one is illegal. How could it have been illegal? Who constructed it? Nigeria constructed it. So oil will flow from this one, oil will flow from that one. This one is the unknown West African country oil. This is the known West African country Nigerian oil. Then it goes to a refinery. Jobs are found for the boys there. We cannot refine our own. Our boys are jobless. And then this thing comes back and you say you are doing subsidy. Subsidy is part of the stealing. Nothing is subsidized. No, nothing is subsidized. First, the oil is stolen. So it's almost at no cost. So what's the cost of the crude oil? Just give stupid Nigerian people some money. And that is it. We've gone beyond that level. We are wiser than that. We are far, far wiser than that. No oil, no crude oil is stolen in Nigeria. Any stealing, in quote, referred to is official. If not, it will not go. Are ships not monitored? Ships are monitored. Even to smuggle small tramadol is detected. Tramadol is detected. But a tanker of crude oil is not detected by CIA. No. Chatham House is the refinery for stolen crude oil. That's why these people go to Chatham House to negotiate. Don't worry, we will continue the business as usual. After all the shout by Buhari while he was campaigning that fuel subsidy is a scam, I will stop it. He increased it instead of stopping it. He became a darling. As Nigerians were crying about herdsmen killing, Boko Haram killing, they were applauding him in Britain and in the US and in France. He's applauded because he played his game. He also played their game. That's where these characters are going now. You think I have respect for them? You leave me here in Nigeria. You leave Nigerian leaders here, opinion molders here. You are going to Chatham House. That's why I label Chatham House the refinery for stolen crude oil. They discuss that. Crude oil is not something you take into your house to fry a car. No. It is something that is official. If it's not official, it does not work. Forget this distraction about we gave a security contract to Tompolo and Co. And so you are now putting the whole thing now on Tompolo. He's in charge of security of pipeline. Who told you? Tompolo has been a fighter for his people. I love that young man a lot. He's a fighter for his people. He believes in where he comes from, that the people cannot continue suffering like this. If this is what is happening, we will do this. They know. Those boys in the creeks know that this oil is not stolen by them. It's stolen by these other people from above. The papers are there. If you like, stop a tanker now. The papers will be correct. Navy, Customs, NNPC, DPR, all the R's. Fully signed. Presidency stamped. And you call that one stolen oil? Is the oil not loaded within our Nigerian territorial waters? Are you saying that our Navy does not know when a ship with stolen crude is leaving? When the Navy has signed it? It must go to international waters. What of when it arrives there? With the sophistication in the US and Britain and France and Germany and China, they don't know that the thing is stolen. We are slaves to them. We are just slaves to them. Nothing is stolen. When you remove that stolen one, the officially exported one, how much per barrel? When it is refined, we buy it back. I will give you, I'll use something to express this. Abraka people are very good cassava growers. I lived all my adult life in Abraka. Their gari is about the finest I've tasted. So gari is ordinarily cheap in Abraka because the cassava is harvested there and processed there. So we buy good gari, fresh gari. Their gari, you can store it for long. Imagine, sir, that the Abraka woman grows the cassava, but the gari frying factory is in Sokoto. So somebody comes and buys cassava from Abraka and transports it to Sokoto in trailers and lorries. So first, you pay the cost of the cassava. Then the cost of transportation. In the case of crude oil, insurance. Then, as you know, this is Nigeria now, as you are transporting this thing to Sokoto, there will be up to 150 police checkpoints where toll is collected. So they collect toll. You add it to the cost of the cassava. After adding the cost of transportation, right? It's from the transportation that the driver feeds. It's from the transportation to Sokoto that he passes 2 nights or 3 nights on the road. You pay for it. Then, of course, you had paid for loading. You also add that to the cost. Then when it gets to Sokoto, you pay for unloading. Right? After paying for unloading, you process. Then you process it into gari. Right? So the cost of that cassava there will be very high because you have added all these other costs. Having processed the gari and having provided jobs to the people working in the gari frying factory in Sokoto, you now want to export it to Abraka. You would have added all these costs, not so? Plus your profit. Then you carry the gari, you load the trailers again with the 150 police checkpoints, which are toll gates. You add that. The many nights the driver will pass. Then the merchant who is going to sell. You add all of that. and come and deliver at Abraka market to sell, what will be the cost of that gari? That is what happens to us. When, not the stolen one now, when you sell crude oil officially to Chatham House. I won't forgive Chatham House. I will call any evil happening to this country is Chatham House. You now sell this crude oil to Chatham House. Chatham House will refine after paying cost of the crude, insurance, freight, customs, and all the other wharf that you have to pay. And then it lands there. Of course, export duty. You must pay. It goes there, you offload, import duty there, right? Customs and whatever to their refinery where they have their men working. Thousands of men working. You are going to pay them from refining this crude. When they finish, they will add all. So a liter will now come to this. There. Then you transport it back to Nigeria. And it must be 3 times, 4 times what it will cost here. So if we are doing it here, there is no way it will be half what we are paying now. And this subsidy is just part of the arrangement in Chatham House to prevent people here from refining. Because if you refine and Nigeria is subsidizing, they cannot bring their own. And they need the job for the boys there. They need the job for the boys in Chatham House. I will continue using Chatham House. They need the job for them. We don't need the jobs here because we are used to suffering. And so they invite you. You want to be president of Nigeria, you've not come to Chatham House, you are not serious. Chatham House is a consultant for all of them. So they will not ask, have you spoken to Atiku? Atiku has come and gone. What about Tinubu? He has come and gone. Peter Obi is going next. Abi? So all of them have one objective, how to satisfy those people while our people are suffering. And you think I believe in them? I don't. Because they don't know what they are doing. If I was contesting, I would not go to Chatham House. Unless I've been bought to do their bidding. Their bidding is to undo us. So they would have gone to negotiate oil. They would have negotiated gold too. How can you say gold is illegally mined? Where does it go to in the world? That the world is not aware. Gold. That IMF is not aware. World Bank is not aware. CIA is not aware. They know. So we must suffer for them. We need somebody. Isaiah 6:8. Who shall I send and who will go for us? And somebody said, here I am, send me. We need somebody who will say, here I am, send me. They are not here. They are not here. None of them have spoken about this. And then you say, Dangote refinery. Fine. Dangote, how does it cope now? When you are subsidizing, you already told Nigeria to be 400 naira per liter. It cannot be. If we do our own refinery, it cannot be more than 150. The local refineries can do it. Why do you keep destroying them rather than refining the refining process? Because you know, if these people who already have the local technology are allowed, your trade in Chatham House would have been gone. If between 1967 and 1970, Biafra refined their own crude oil into diesel and petrol and gas. From 1970 to now, 53 years after the Civil War, we are not able to refine it, and we are proud of ourselves as a country. And then economists come to tell you why there should be subsidy. I didn't read economics, but they confuse me. Even locally, if the petrol lands at Lagos at this price, how can you sell at 180 in Lagos and 180 in Maiduguri? How did it get to Maiduguri? Witchcraft. Would somebody not pay for the transportation? As far back as 2012 or thereabout, when I visited Shekelewu twice as commissioner. Petrol was around 80 something naira back home here. I'm not too sure of the price then. In Shekelewu, it was already 250 naira per liter. Why? They would buy out cocoa, transport it to Shekelewu, build the cost into it, and the people were suffering. While it was selling at 250 naira per liter in Shekelewu, it was selling at 87 naira per liter in Maiduguri. And it didn't pain you that Inside the oil well, people are suffering this. And then you come and preach to me that you want to be president of this, nobody is speaking, nobody is talking sense. None of them is talking sense. They are just rabble-rousers. I will do this, I will do this. Gather people, fill a stadium, fill a market, fill the road, fill all the roads in Asaba, and start talking. Bring people from all over the world. Bring 1,000 per ward to come to rallies. The real pain is not being addressed. We are at pain right now. So for oil theft, I've told you, no individual is stealing oil. It's official stealing. I repeat, it's official stealing, and I have no apologies for that. Those pipelines were not constructed by thieves. They were constructed by government at a cost to government. This one now our own. This one now government own. So this one now goes, that they refine for them, they bring it back as subsidized. These are multi-billionaires in dollars. They now bring it back to us as our petrol that we are importing. We share the money, and Nigeria moves on. It's a miracle that Nigeria is still on its feet. It's a miracle. Now we'll be bled to death. Our entire budget will be used for debt. How can you produce million-plus barrels of crude oil every day? And you are in debt. You are poor. You cannot maintain your institutions. You cannot maintain your hospitals. Then you invest in lies. I'm not talking of one person investing in lies. They invest in lies. They are not telling us the truth. And only the truth can set us free. And because a fish rots from the head, once the head has been convinced by Chatham House, this is what you are going to do, the rest of us are just following. So what do we do? Make we struggle for our own. Now this one, give me small now. So people have become foolish. We have all become foolish. We are confused. We don't know what to do as citizens anymore. That I'm from an oil producing community. And you are telling me that this oil is worthless. Because what we get from exporting crude oil is not enough to run the country. So no need for the crude oil. In fact, we are adding money to it by implication. That's the meaning of subsidy. We export it at this rate, but this is how we are getting it, so we are subsidized. Subsidized from what source? No, that's so. It must be subsidized from debt. So we'll continue borrowing. And those who are lending to us are happy to lend our own money to us. They must lend to us so that those at the top can take a little, we lend to you, take a little, so that they are encouraged not to take more of the crude oil. Our gas network, no, we have surplus gas. Where are we exporting it to? We are never encouraged to do that. Keep your gas there, my friend. Just continue giving us crude oil. When we need the gas, we'll tell you. It's reserved for them. So we just come, we kill ourselves over APC, PDP, Labour Party, and all that. Like fella will say, Adam together, give me the answer. Me arrange it. The whole thing is rotten. And Nigeria as it is cannot correct it. I have not seen any of the presidential candidates who can correct it. Yes, one has come out boldly to say, I will remove subsidy. That's Jagaban. Good, I agree with him. Remove the subsidy. Atiku has said, I will privatize the refineries. It makes sense. They are liability already. You spend so much, you gain nothing. In fact, you are working, but you are borrowing money to work because no profit, nothing has been declared by Kaduna Refinery. And it's a town of workers. The refinery is a town of workers. You just pay. Yet more, whereas if we are having our money, we establish more industries for people to work. We don't have more production, none. We cannot, even our steel factories, you are encouraged to make sure they don't work. It's part of Chatham House business. What are you talking about, Jakuta, or what? It will work for 3 months and stop. You are encouraged to do that because they need to export to you. You have to be firm like a Robert Mugabe. You will suffer for some time. I say, day your day, make we day our day. Let us suffer for some time on our own. You will be shocked what progress we might come in. But for as long as we love this comfort, what our forefathers did in slavery, ordinary mirrors, you sold the sun. We are back to it. We are selling our children for mirrors, for sweets, fanciful things they gave to us. And we sold our boys and girls into slavery for the cost of a mirror, for the cost of sweets, for the cost of cake. We sold them. That's what we are doing now. We have sold our country to them. I used to love the presidential candidates, but the moment they started going to Chatham House again, I said, so this thing is real. They've gone to take orders. So no matter who you put there, no matter who emerges as president, nothing will happen unless a group of persons will come and say, enough is enough of these lies. We are not taking them anymore. We are not taking these lies anymore. That's when Nigeria can move forward. Or another group of persons will come and say, look, we want out. We cannot convince you to stop this rubbish. We want to go out. If the Yoruba nation was on its own, with its knowledge, loaded with capitalists, they would have gone far ahead of us. If the Igbo nation was on its own, with their skills, ability to trade, with their scientists, we would have been far gone. Ojukwu, before he died, would have been wondering, is this the same Nigeria where a part which I governed, refined crude, that can